Ms. Hanabusa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Admiral.
Aloha.
Aloha. I was going to tell you the same thing, and I won't repeat my colleagues, especially Congressman Whitman, but my mahalo to both you and Donna for everything you've done. And I'd like to add to that my mahalo for on behalf of the people of the state of Hawaii. You've been absolutely great. You've embraced them, and I think that they've embraced the both of you right back. Having said that, Admiral, you know, one of the things that we take for granted is munitions. And do you have any concerns regarding the DoD's current inventory of munitions?
I do. The short answer is yes. I have concerns. When we look across our munitions inventories, notwithstanding what's been expended over the past 10 years, there exist gaps and shortfalls and insufficiencies in a variety of different areas. In the new strategic design, in terms of priorities, there is emphasis on improving our missile defense capabilities as one example, and our cruise missile capabilities. So we think that there will be advances in some munitions inventories, but the short answer to do I have concerns, the answer is yes. When we talk about major operations, nation-state level operations, there are munitions acquisitions, production rates, and in some cases insufficiencies that we've got to overcome.
So how does that look in terms of the fiscal year 13 budget request? And are we procuring a sufficient number of weapons to basically ensure you and other, combatant commanders the sufficient number that you will need?
We have spent the last couple of years articulating the munitions status very clearly into the Department of Defense, and I've had a good association with Deputy Undersecretary Carter and others with regard to determining what to do about some of the munitions challenges that we face. Again, the 13 budget will improve some areas that we've regarded as critical in the past, specifically related to ballistic missile defense, where the production rates of SM-3s and other capabilities have been limited, and cruise missile inventories. There remain other areas in which we're challenged, and our responsibility has been and will continue to be to articulate those as clearly as we can so that the services make the appropriate investments to try and overcome some of these shortfalls.
And I guess in another conversation before you retire, we can see where those other areas are. Now, Al, we've had this discussion before, but I'd like you to be able to walk us through. We've talked about basically rotational bases and afloat. Now, we know kind of what that means, but can you use the remainder of this time to tell us that what do you envision when we talk about a rotational basis and we have basically servicemen afloat, especially since we're going to be forwarding them to areas where we don't have bases, traditional bases?
Yeah, thank you. When we talk about posture, we're generally talking about where we are either permanently based or where we are able to rotate from. So Hawaii is a permanent base for us. We have a fleet concentration area there. We have some very significant strategic assets, such as the shipyard there, that we're able to operate from. And we deploy and we employ the forces that are stationed in Hawaii. Elsewhere, such as the offering made by Singapore, Australia in terms of the Darwin Marines, and the discussions that we're currently having with the Philippines may afford us opportunities to rotate forces, not fly in, fly out, but it's a term they use, but essentially bring forces forward, allow them to train and operate from those bases for a temporary period of time, and then replace them with other forces that will in turn rotate. So we have the responsibility to posture correctly, and then there's the presence requirement, which is entirely different. This is where day to day the forces should be operating to engage with other countries, to exercise, or to be present to help secure the Asia-Pacific region.
So we're talking about a rotational type of force, and they're deploying from a particular area like Philippines or Darwin. Are they envisioned to live there for a period of time to have actual quarters there?
They will have quarters there, yes. We do not anticipate that they will be taking their families there, so there's not a permanence to their presence there. They will dwell there to exercise with their Australian counterparts and then eventually employ into the region where we need them.
Thank you, Admiral. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you.